Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. So let's start the mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatho Jayamudhirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. Today we are discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 5th chapter and 36th verse. Okay, so if anyone wanted to recite, I can just recite. Kurvana yatra karmani bhagavat chikshaya sakrut grananti guna. Yes, go ahead.
Bhagavat Chikshaya Sakrat
Grananti guna namani
Grananti Gunanamani
Krishnasya anusmaranti cha
Krishnasya Anusmaranti Cha
Kurvana yatra karmani
Kurvana Yatra Karmani
Bhagavat chikshaya sakrut
Bhagavat Chikshaya Akrit
Grananti guna namani
Grananti Gunanamani
Krishnasya anusmaranti cha
Krishnasya Anusmaranti Cha
Kurvana yatra karmani
Kurvana Yatra Karmani
Bhagavat chikshaya asakrut
Bhagavat Chikshaya Asakrit
Grananti guna namani
Grananti Gunanamani
Krishnasya anusmaranti cha.
Krishnasya Anusmaranti Cha.
So anyone want to recite the verse? Okay. Synonyms. Kurvanaha, while performing, yatra, thereupon, karmani, duties, Bhagavat, the personality of Godhead, shikshaya, by the will of, asakrut, constantly, grananti, takes on, guna, qualities, namani, names, krishnasya, of Krishna, anusmaranti, constantly remembers, cha, and translation and purport by is Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. While performing duties according to the order of Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, one constantly remembers him, his names and his qualities. Purport. An expert devotee of the Lord can mold his life in such a way that while performing all kinds of duties, either for this or the next life, he can constantly remember the Lord's name, fame, qualities, etc. The order of the Lord is distinctly there in the Bhagavad Gita. One should work only for the Lord in all spheres of life. In every sphere of life, the Lord should be situated as the proprietor. According to the Vedic rites, even in the worship of some demigods like Indra, Brahma, Saraswati and Ganesha, the system is that in all circumstances, the representation of Vishnu must be there as Yagneshwara, or the controlling power of such sacrifices. It is recommended that a particular demigod be worshipped for a particular purpose, but still the presence of Vishnu is compulsory in order to make the function proper. Apart from such Vedic duties, even in our ordinary dealings, for example, in our household affairs or in our business or profession, we must consider that the result of all activities must be given over to the Supreme Enjoyer, Lord Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord has declared himself to be the Supreme Enjoyer of everything, the Supreme Proprietor of every planet, and the Supreme Friend of all beings. No one else but Lord Krishna can claim to be the proprietor of everything within his creation. A pure devotee remembers this constantly, and in doing so, he repeats the transcendental name, fame, and qualities of the Lord, which means which means that he is constantly in touch with the Lord. The Lord is identical with his name, fame, etc. And therefore, to be associated with his name, fame, etc., constantly means actually to associate with the Lord. So, next paragraph will be continued tomorrow. So, it's a big part. Yeah. So, let's start the Mangalacharanam. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वसादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Thank you all again for joining Srimad Bhagavatam class today. So we are discussing today Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, 5th chapter, 36th verse, where Sukadeva Goswami explaining all these things. An expert devotee of the Lord can mold his life in such a way that while performing all kinds of duties, either for this life or next life, he can constantly remember the Lord's name, fame, qualities, and many etc. Right? So, devotee of the Lord, remember the Lord always, not just okay, remember the Lord now, or not just only today, or not just only tomorrow, or not just only this year, next 10 year, or not just only this life. So devotee of the Lord will remember the Lord in even next life, any life. Srila Prabhupada asked question to the devotee that what is the secret of Krishna consciousness? So what is the secret of Krishna consciousness? Anyone? Arrange your day in such a way that you can never forget Krishna for a single moment, even a single moment. So always remember 24/7 Krishna. In Chaitanya Charitamrita explains, there is sloka in 22nd chapter. Smartavya satatam vishnor vismartavyo na jatu chit sarve vidhi nishedhasyur yetayor eva kinkaraha. Smartavya satatam vishnor. Krishna is the actually origin of Lord Vishnu. Krishna is the supreme. He should always be remembered and never forget at any time. Even in the Shastra have rules and prohibitions. Those Shastras had rules and prohibition are the servants of these two principles. What are those two principles? So, always remember Krishna, never forget. Right? These two principles are actually basic background of Krishna consciousness. So that is what is the basic principles of Krishna consciousness is. So always satatam smarthavya Vishnu. So always remember. That is what actual background principles of Krishna consciousness. It is not just something we are giving so many principles. So basic principle is that remember Krishna. Don't forget Krishna. Right? So this is only possible when one chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and therefore we must strictly chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra 24 hours a day. Right? So at least, so we should chant, so whatever the regulatory principle, and then follow the regulatory principle, chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, whatever the number of rounds that is prescribed by Srila Prabhupada. So that is what Krishna consciousness. That is what the propagation of Krishna consciousness. So in purport explains, right? What is the order of Krishna? How can we remember Krishna always? So what is the order of Krishna? Anyone? What Krishna orders in Bhagavad Gita? In Bhagavad Gita says, one should work only for the Lord in all spheres of life. And in every sphere of life, it is given in the purport. Every sphere of life, Lord should be situated as the proprietor. So, because Lord is the proprietor, this is a very important formula. Whatever we do, right? Whatever we do, service, work, always keep the Krishna at center, and we should give the position as a proprietor. He is the owner of all, everything, whatever you can see surround. So, just I'm giving small example. One of my friend was trading, daily trading. He was so dejected one day because he was playing trading and the stocks are plunged on that day. He was thinking that quarter result will be very good. He will gain very good money. But on that day, that quarter result was very plunged, and then his shares was so down. And he was so upset. And he was thinking, let's wait for some more days, and then it become like better. But it was not recovered up. And he was so unconsolable. He was so lamenting. What I can do? How much money I lost? And then he knows that I'm into Krishna consciousness. He asked me, you know Krishna, you do worship for Krishna. What Krishna says for this? I said one thing, just follow this formula. I would think Krishna is the proprietor for all the money that we have. This is not our money. This is Krishna's money. Just think that this asset, money, whatever we have is Krishna's one. His wish, right? If you want to give money, he will give. How much you wanted to give, he will give that much. It's not our money. How can we expect, okay, that is my money, I was supposed to get this much. And also you are playing gambling. How can you expect someone's money, hard-earned money? So you just think that he is the proprietor for this money, not this is your money, right? Then everything will be resolved, right? So, yeah, as a devotee, think about the Lord always 24/7. So, and not just like, okay, we are done today's Sunday Fish program, and we are done today Bhakti Ruksha program. I am done for this week. I am done today's Bhagavatam class morning. Yes, I am done today. My devotion part. 1 hour, done. So it is not just 1 day or 1 hour or 1 day in a week. So you should be always Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. So, and also explains in the purport, Prabhupada, apart from this such Vedic duties that we have, even in our ordinary dealings, like example, household affairs, in our daily business, in our daily profession, we must consider that the result of all activities must be given to the Supreme Enjoyer. Whatever we are doing in regular, so for example, we are working every day, so that should be given. The result of that work should be given to the Supreme Enjoyer, who is Lord Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita says, the Lord has declared himself to be the Supreme Enjoyer of everything. He is the Supreme Proprietor of everything in the whole planet. And also, he is the Supreme Friend of all beings. Because he is the beneficiary of all sacrifices. We know the shloka in Bhagavad Gita, right? Bhoktharam yagnatapasam sarvalokamayeshwaram. He is the proprietor of it because he is the Supreme Enjoyer. Whatever we do sacrifice, even though if you do sacrifice for Brahma, Indra, Ganesha, Saraswati, any other devatas, whatever sacrifice you do, that will go to him because he is the Supreme Enjoyer. Right? Even sometimes even devotees have complete spiritual knowledge. Still, you may suffer. Not only anybody. Still, if they are doing pious activities also, they will still suffer in this world because of this world is full of miseries. So anyone tell me what is the miseries or calamities for any devotees? I'm not talking about the material people. I'm just talking about the devotees. What are the greatest misery or calamity for any devotee? If you think, okay, this is the highest misery in any devotee's life. Anybody? Which is the highest which you can think of? Misery of life. Misery for any devotee's life. Anybody?
Losing someone
Okay.
on the
Losing
yeah.
someone.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Chances of falling down.
Yes, Prabhu? Ajish Prabhu?
Chances of
Hey.
falling down.
Sorry. Hari Prabhuji, I cannot hear you.
I mean, chanting numbers may be coming down on a daily
Okay.
basis. Some
Okay.
days,
Chances of falling down.
Okay. Okay. Chanting. Okay.
Chances of falling down. Prabhuji.
Coming down. Yeah. I got it. So, yeah. They're, yeah, of course, they are the miseries. But so beyond that, the greatest misery or calamity of any devotee is actually forgetfulness of Krishna. So that is very important. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd chapter, 3rd canto, 15th chapter, 48 and 49, these two verses explains about that. See, devotee, a pure devotee, is ready to go to hell. Even he can tolerate any kind of miseries, any kind of sufferings for all karmic reactions. Even suffering of death and birth, it doesn't matter for him. Even so, you can go any beyond in this material world. Even you don't need liberation. But you want only one thing from the Lord, forgetfulness. You should not forget the Lord Krishna. He can take any sufferings because devotee is actually beyond all these sufferings. There is no sufferings for the devotee particular actually in this material world because he is completely detached from this material allurements. Even Lord, even if offered the 5 liberations, great devotee will refuse to accept them. But materialistic persons aspire the sense enjoyment and heavenly pleasures in the heavenly kingdom. He wants to go to heaven and then enjoy the heavenly pleasure. But devotee reject all such material pleasures. Devotee doesn't even care the post of Indra in Vedic Shastras explains, right? Devotee knows that he don't want any such kind of post, Indra, Brahma's post. Devotee knows that it's an pleasurable material positions. Is subjected to any time annihilate or fall down from that point. Even if one reaches to post Indra, Chandra or Brahma and demigod, so there will be an end of certain stage. Devotee never interested on such temporary pleasure, even Brahma's position also. You know that Brahma, Mohan, Lila, they all fall down one particular stage, even Indra also, right? So devotee doesn't request for all such or desire for such positions. Devotee only need, whether you are in material world, you are in spiritual world, doesn't matter. He can make a Vaikuntha in material world itself. We can make a Vaikuntha in your home itself. Only one he requests. Always remember Krishna. So devotee asks Lord, so he is ready to suffer anything, but only with one condition, these 3 things to be fulfilled. What are those 3 things? Chetu, Vachas and Karnarandra. Chetu means my mind always fixed into your lotus feet of Lord. Ananyas Chintayanto. Vachas, my word always singing your glorification. Kathantaschamam Nitya. Kirtanam. And third one is Karna Randraha. My ear always hears your glories, Leelas, Guna Rupa Nama Leela. Transcendental songs, which is Sravanam. Devotees will ask these three things to the Lord always. He doesn't need anything, not even liberation. Chitraketu Maharaj, Chitraketu. So he was king actually in previous life. He asked the Lord, I don't need any liberation. I wanted to become Gandharva so that I can sing your glories all the time, all over the place. So that is what his desire. But later he cursed by Parvati, but even with that curse also, he didn't even disturbed by the curse. He was really happily accepted because he was doing devotion for the devotee, whatever it is. He may be, in Patala, lower planets, upper planets, wherever it is. He always remember Krishna. Or, whether it is spiritual world or material, doesn't make any difference for devotee. Amrish Maharaj says always, let my leg always walk to the temple for the Lord's service. Let my hand always involve in dressing the deities. Let my eyes always see the wonderful darshan of the Lord. My ear always hear the glories of the Lord. He engaged all his limbs in the service of the Lord. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also, he said, I am not satisfied with my with my 2 legs, 2 hands, 1 tongue, 1 ear, 1 eyes. That's 2 eyes. He wants millions of bodies, millions of ears, millions of tongues, millions of ears to glorify you. That is what actually devotees put. Our desire should be like that. Instead of sensual pleasure, we should turn our all senses towards to the Lord. Santa Tukaram, you may be heard about Santa Tukaram. He was from Maharashtra. He was a saint. He was doing 24 hours devotional service. Though he is not actually he doesn't have scriptural knowledge. He's not a scholar. He's not a priest. He's not a renunciate person in 17th century. He was a householder, a small trade by duty, but he is a pure devotee by heart. He was running one small shop. He had a lot of debts, faced so many problems in his life, lost family members, and he was treated very badly in the society. Yet he was not even shaken by his duties, his remembrance of the Lord. So if it is normal person, you could have said that why this is God, why it is me, why God is very much cruel on me, right? Tukaram was actually just worshipping the Vitoba, the Krishna in Pandharpur. So he was not at all disturbed with all these calamities in his life. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, there is no material world for the devotees. Material world for only conditioned soul, not for liberated soul. There is no difference between, even for the devotees, there is no difference between material world and spiritual world. We think always, okay, this is Dukhalayam, we need to liberate from this world. But Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, doesn't matter where you are in the material world or a spiritual world. So you can make Vaikuntha in material world itself. You should only thing is you should completely detach from the all surroundings, whatever you have. Rupa Goswami says also same thing. Always remember Krishna and don't forget Krishna. Even for a moment, you should not miss Krishna. Yen muhurtam Krishnam yapi Vasudevam na chintya. If one moment if you are not remember the Krishna, then you will be a great loss. That is what Bhagavatam teaches us. Right? So, great devotees are actually remember the Lord from birth to till death. Like Prahlad Maharaj, he heard the glories of the Lord when he was in the womb of mother. Parikshit Maharaj, he saw the Lord himself in the womb before birth itself. Amrish Maharaj, when he was very young youth, he started worshipping the Lord. He was completely surrendered to the Lord, and then his all limbs are completely serving in the service of the Lord. And later age, see, I'm telling from starting from before birth till death. And later age, Dhritarashtra also, after Vidura's word, he left the home and then left the kingdom and then went forest, and then he started worshipping the Lord in the meditation, and then he also get the liberation. And Ajamila, during the deathbed, he got the Vishnu Dutas, and then he started continuing his devotion after death. After deathbed. So there is no age, whether you are in age 100, doesn't matter. We have to start from childhood. So that is very much important. So there is, so in Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, so Gopi Gitas are there. So Tavakatamritam Tapta Jivanam, Kavibhiriditam Kalmashapaham. So when Chaitanya Charitamrita, it explains very clearly. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada has given just only few lines, but in Chaitanya Charitamrita, this explains very neatly. When King Prataparudra recited this verse, Gopi Gitas, so when during the Jagannath Ratha Yatra, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was sitting in the garden, as soon as he recited this, he entered into the garden and then he started reciting, King Prataparudra reciting this verse, Tavakata Amrutam Tapta Jivanam. And he was sleeping. He was taking a rest, actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Suddenly he will wake up and he went to actually ecstatic mode by hearing, because that Gopi Gita was so much ecstatic. And suddenly he will wake up and completely in the ecstatic mode and embracing King Prataparudra. He remembers the previous Lila, where Krishna came in Vrindavan and was doing all these Leelas. So we should remember always, we should not feel like, alone. We should think that Krishna is everything. Krishna is father, mother, Krishna is actually friend, Krishna is actually our bandhu. Krishna is for everything. Then we can remove few things from our mind, right? We don't really care, or we can remove our fear that we have. Okay, I am alone. Loneliness. And remove our dependency particularly, because Krishna is our father and mother. Krishna will be taking care of everything. So also in Bhagavad Gita explains, one should engage in the service of the Lord with pranair, arthair, diya and vacha. Pranair means life. We should actually engage our whole life. Arthair, we should engage our all the monies, artha, in the service of the Lord. We should engage diya. Diya means actually our intelligence. We should engage our intelligence not for something doing nonsense thing. We should engage our intelligence to what we can do better for the Krishna. And vacha, how can we engage our speeches, words in the service of the Lord, to propagate the glories of the Lord for the new people in the material world. We should make habit. All this. So 7 o'clock, so I'm just trying to conclude it. So finally, so what we can understand from this verse initially is, so what is the order of the Lord? And what are the duties? Order of the Lord, Krishna has told. Always remember Krishna in this sphere of life, and then we keep the Krishna at the center. He is the proprietor. Or otherwise, we will be into suffering mode. Yeah. So, Sparthavyam Sasatam Vishnu. Always remember Krishna. Always remember Krishna. We should not think of only one time, only today or tomorrow or 1 hour, day in a week. Always 24/7. We should keep remember the Krishna according to Shastras what says. So thank you. If you have any question, I'll stop here. So we can ask.
Hare Krishna. There are no
It
more
is very
questions at
clear,
the moment.
Prabhuji.
We will say 3 times Haribol to His Grace Purna Prakash Prabhuji for delivering such a nice class. Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. We will chant the prayers to the Narasimha Bhagwan for the protection of the devotees of ISKCON Somerset and all over the world. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnu Jalantam Sarvatmukam Narasimham Bhishanam Bhadram Mrutyum Namamyaham. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnu Jalantam Sarvatmukam Narasimham Bhishanam Bhadram Mrutyum Namamyaham. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnu Jalantam Sarvatomukham Narasimham Bhishanam Bhadram Mrutyum Namamyaham. Narasimha Bhagwan ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Let's offer our humble obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas who are like the decitress. Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Let's offer 3 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Let's chant, which is the Yoga Dharma of this Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. भगवान श्री कृष्ण परमात्मा की जय. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय. गौर प्रेमानंदे. हरि हरि बोल. See you tomorrow on the very auspicious Vaikuntha Ekadasi day. Okay. Hare Krishna at 6:30 a.m.
Hare Krishna.